9 o'clock, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is approve the minutes of Monday, October 24th.
So moved.
Tom's moved.
I'll second.
Tim's second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes for, he's
Yeah.
abstaining. Next is to approve the continuation minutes of Wednesday, October 26th.
Moved.
Bob moved.
Second.
Tom seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All abstain. On to our miscellaneous motions. Coffee County Highway Department, motion 2022-45, request authorization to dispose of 24 traffic cones.
I'll move.
Bob moved.
I'll second.
Tim second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Should that motion say to the city of Burlington?
Yes.
So they know where they're going?
Exactly.
Oh, it does down the
It
road.
does down the road.
Oh, I was just reading up.
I just read the top. I didn't read the bottom.
Okay, that's all right with it.
I guess it was sold to the city of Burlington.
Okay, I'm with.
And who's seconded that?
Tom did.
Tom seconded the traffic cone.
No, I did.
Nope.
That is exactly right. Sorry, Tom. Where's my mouth? I know that.
Next is move to authorize Director Chairman to sign letter of support grant application, Coffee County Transportation, to continue funding from the state of Kansas for fiscal year beginning July 2023 and ending June 2024. The letter is present.
I'll move.
Second.
Bob's moved. Tom seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Oh, I guess more. Move to find that 58 2x4 old lights and 21 2x2 old lights are no longer required and cannot be prudently used for public purpose of Coffee County, and such should be disposed of to the Coffee County landfill. That was lights from the courthouse. Tom moved.
I'll second.
Tim seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. District 5, move to reappoint Stephen Hopkins as a member of the Coffee County Hospital Board to a 3-year term effective January 1, 2023 and ending December 31st, 2025.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Bob's moved, Tom second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Move to approve replacement of the existing boiler control with the Halliwell Spider for compatible with the software system, and authorize Director Chairman to sign the proposal for Modern Air for the amount of $1,643.
I'll make the motion.
Tim moved.
Second.
Don second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We wouldn't need a motion for that, 'cause that's under $10,000. I don't know why she put that in there. Okay. Let's rather have it than not need it, not have it. Okay. We're gonna roll with our 905 governmental. Garrett, you know, Nord?
Actually, we have, Ray.
Oh, sorry, Jeff, sorry.
Real
Got
sorry.
a second. Jeff Fire, sorry.
Sorry.
Really short, so I know you don't have much to do today, so, you took care of the motion. I got a road permit to just pass around for information. And by policy, we're supposed to report any accidents. So, we had a blade westbound on Old Highway 50, and maybe last week, make a left-hand turn. Truck decided to pass him and run into him, so substantial damage to the pickup, and, we put our tire back on the bead and went on, so no damage to the blade, but it was reportable. It was, all tests were performed post-accident, so, and everything come back just fine there. So that's
Could've been a lot worse than what it
oh
was.
my gosh, it's been a year, I guess. Well, that's going around, just information, we've got our first, employee through our CDL testing program and license, so that's up and going. We got a lot of bugs to work out, but we're there. We're there to make it.
I'm sorry.
We got our first employee through the new CDL training process, so that's that law changed back in February 7th. We got our first one.
And you guys are qualified to do that in-house, correct?
Mhm.
Yes. Do you do that for other entities as well?
No.
Just for
highway
personal
department.
use,
Yep,
so to
yep.
speak?
We did have a meeting with, City of Burlington last Thursday, trying to get them up and going, so we're walking them through that process, but,
Okay.
Who's heading that?
Dustin Dorr.
Dustin's
our
heading
main
it for you?
Yep, yep. So, and.
He's got plenty of experience.
Yeah, he does. So, one other thing, we're still looking for day cab truck, so I think we got a couple more of those to look at, so. I don't have anything to bring you, maybe next week. That's all I've got, if you have any questions. You're welcome.
Permit?
Road permit. It's a bore, a water department line bore,
Oh, okay.
just north of my place, actually, I think,
Okay.
building in-house up there, someone is.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So, well, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Now we'll go to 9:05, Garrett Nordstrom.
Morning.
Morning, guys. We meet again.
We do. We are here to discuss, further discuss the conversation we had last week, and put our contract in front of you for review.
We spent the last week working on the project, but also working on a contract with an attorney. Got it late Friday, so you're just seeing it. We'd like to review it with you, and we can do that.
Did you email that to me?
It was late last night.
Oh, okay, yeah, then I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Has our attorney looked at it?
Right, so that's, we wanted to get this to you by the close of business on Friday, but we were not able to get that worked out with our attorney and get that done, so this will be the first time he's seeing it, so we don't expect you to sign off on it right away. If he needs time to review it, or if there's any suggestions for additions or anything like that, we're open to that too, so we just wanted to drive up here, let you guys take a look at it. Let you know that we're still on the job and getting after it, and when we get this taken care of, whenever your attorney's good with it, we'll get it signed.
We are, however, open to discussing it now. If you'd like to review it with us, if that would be appropriate, or we've been told you have a super busy day, so if we want to move on to next week, we can also do that.
Yeah, we've got several minutes in between now and the next.
Okay.
30 minutes at least.
Yeah, we got 30
Do
minutes.
that for you.
Our standard contract kind of takes us through the conditions of what it's for, that we're going to be contract for preparation proposals to the United States Department of Commerce on behalf of Coffee County for the FY 2022 CHIPS funding, which everyone knows. Some clauses of termination for convenience, changes to the contract on page 2. Then we go through the services, which would be page 2, section 4. that outlines that we would be responsible for submitting the proposals to the Department of Commerce for the different entities that have been identified in the project so far, including Coffee County. What our duties and tasks will be in the project. They include these, but they're not limited to these. Of course, we have been charged with not only submitting the proposals, but also some organizational types tasks, and things are changing every day. So we list the applicable federal state guidelines and civil rights clauses that our company follows, affirmative action type things. Page 3 at the bottom, it talks about audit requirements in case the county would have them. Kind of standard contract language until you get to the last page, number 6, which is the crux of the entire contract, which is the fees. The contract spells out that we will bill the county $130 per hour, not to exceed $286,000 for the preparation of all the proposals in the contract. It says that the project has an additional time extension past the projected 4-month completion date, and we have expended the set amount that we will bill for additional work past that. We have I guess you would call it estimated completion date. By the end of February at least is when we expect to submit all proposals, so we've sort of budgeted our time for roughly 4 months out. It also, there is a clause here talking about that we would be entitled to compensation for the county for some reimbursable expenses, which would be mostly travel, some other things like office supplies, printing in case there were any sort of demonstrable expenses for that sort of printing, binding, design services. We don't expect there to be a great deal, but there may be some.
There's so many unknowns. We don't know if this will all be able to be submitted electronically, which would obviously save us a ton of money on printing. But if we do need to print and bind what it's going to end up being 8, 9, maybe even 10 different proposals for all of the different entities, we just want to make sure that we're not, covering that out of
Spending
our pocket.
$10,000 in binding, and
Right. Yeah.
that comes out of it.
To begin with, we had discussed that there might be quite a bit of travel involved back and forth to D.C., to Kentucky to deal and work with some of the entities. They sort of expressed that maybe not be quite a need for that. Right. So we're not expecting now that travel expense to be incurred. That now the entities that we're dealing with are doing things on Zoom, online, so we're meeting face to face, without that expended travel time, make it a little bit more efficient.
Well, it's a lot faster too.
It is.
Even though getting on an airplane is pretty
Right.
fast, but it's just the time between.
Yeah, it takes a lot of extra hours of
It does.
time that we could be working on getting some other things done too. So, what we talked about last week is we want to be transparent with the way we bill. So you're going to know every hour that we're billing for, we're going to tell you what it is that we're doing. And we're not, again, just a small family-owned company, just us two and our wives, and we've got another guy that's going to help us out on this project that we trust. So when we bill you for an hour, you're going to know exactly what it is that we're doing. We're not going to overbill you for anything. Could it end up being less than this? It's possible. It's just the best guess that we have at this time. So we'll be very, very transparent with the way we bill our time.
That's over 2,000 hours. Do you expect to spend that much time in a 5-month period?
I would love to tell you that I know exactly how many hours this is going to take, but we don't even know the format of the proposals. We don't have that information yet. So all I could do is guess, just saying that, we think this many hours for this task. I laid everything out just like I used to do in my previous career. I know you weren't here last week, but just a man-hour calculation based on our best guess. That's why we want to bill you hourly, not to exceed, instead of just saying, here it is, $286,000, pay us and we'll take care of it. It could end up being less than that. We just have no
If
idea
you
at
have
this
that many
time.
hours in that short period of time, you're going to have two or three employees working on it all the time.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
That's what they was talking about
Yeah.
last
Yep.
week. That's about all they're gonna do.
Yep.
Be able to do.
Travel time, we're charged both ways.
Sure.
If they come, we'd like to get them back home.
I'm sorry?
If they come, we'd like to get them back home.
Yeah, I don't wanna say
A lot of contracts are charged coming in and not going out.
Right.
That's really
We feel the estimate is conservative, considering the scope of the proposals for this project, seeing that we feel that this is going to be one of the biggest economic development projects this state has ever seen.
Right.
And with such a short amount of time, you know, we're talking into the billions of dollars of proposals. It's going to take every waking hour almost. We're going to eat, sleep, and drink Coffee County economic development for the next 4 months.
So I'm gonna look at Mr. Skipper when I asked this question, but I thought the time frame was like less than that actually, originally. I mean, I thought things had to be, I thought we would know by the end of this year, actually.
It has shifted some, but that is
Okay.
the idea that I maintain, is that
So we're not on as big a time crunch as originally projected.
correct.
Because-
The Commerce has moved it back, the U.S. Commerce.
Okay.
See, I was thinking November, not to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page with Tim here, that
They have moved it back, the last time they moved it back was just a couple of weeks ago.
okay.
But there is still the impetus that we need to maintain going into December and having everything ironed out completely as to the format of what is going to be presented. And if we're not there in December, it's going to be real tough to push it all into the
Right.
January timeframe.
So we reached out to Tom Goldberg and asked him, like, hey, have you ever seen anything like this where we can put our hands on it and see exactly what's gone into it? That way we can develop a little more of an idea and a timeline. And I'll let Garrett tell you what he said.
Absolutely not. There's
Yeah.
nothing has ever been presented to the Department of Commerce like this. This is a once-in-a-generation bill and a once-in-a-generation project. And so he basically made a time. He'll be at our office for 3 days in the first week of November to work with us hand in hand to start moving through what we expect them to publish.
Right. So we'll have an idea or a layout of what he thinks it's going to look like and the information that's going to need to be in there, and we just gather all that information so that we can be the very first ones to get everything in the format that they want it and get it in there. That's the goal, is for us to be the very first one to be submitting.
Time is of the essence, Stu.
Yeah. Feel like waiting to read it over to get his blessing, so it's pretty straightforward, but.
And I'd like to have a little time to look at it, and it does appear that it's retroactive to October 13th, so even if you delay it a week, it's still retroactive.
Right.
Thank you, Ben.
Very well,
Thank
thank
you.
you, guys.
Would you like us back here Monday morning? Nothing.
I don't think you have to.
Okay.
And if there's any questions, I'm sure Wade will be in contact with you if there's any questions on the contract
That's great.
prior to Monday.
If you ever want to see either one of us or both of us or talk to us, feel free to reach out anytime. Great. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank
Okay, thank you much.
Thank you, everybody.
Running a little ahead of schedule. That's good. Housing Authority, Rhonda?
I didn't know how much time we'd have since you have a very full day and everything, so I kind of condensed it down a little bit, and so you could kind of read over and see what I was coming back with. When Mike and I were here last time, discussing the property out at the Meadows, the possibility of using some of that land out there to develop for housing. You said, well, do some checking and then report back with, whatever we have. And so we did have a meeting with the mayor and talked about possibly developing out there. If that would happen, would the city be able to help us with that? And he assured us that he felt like he could work with us and everything on that. Craig Marshall also sat in on that meeting and giving us their support, of course, and everything. Our developers did let us know that there was the SHOVL money out there for the shovel money for this housing development, and you can get up to like $25,000. I kind of showed you the list of, things that you could use it for and everything, that, kind of getting an idea, because the developer kind of wants to know, the big thing he wants is kind of to get the housing study. We can't use, Bobby's, who's doing it countywide, because they want it for a specific area. And so we could use some of that money possibly for that, and, getting things ready to even see what, is there a need for anything? You know, whether it be moderate income housing, single family, or the senior. And, so we'd like to, you know, move forward with that, and that being, they need to have a resolution passed that you're okay with it if you are, or if you're not, and then, but if you are, then we need the resolution and a letter stating that we would be in favor of that. Now, we have spoken with the Coffee Health System. We've had 4 different meetings since 2021 and everything. They do not seem to be in favor of this proposed plan, but we did come and talk to you, and we did want to come back with you. You know, I mean, the Housing Authority is for the betterment of developing housing and stuff in our county and everything, and so, did you have anything else to say?
No, we're just, like she said, we're just here to promote housing, you know what I mean? And, it gives, basically what we're after is just getting it signed off to where we can go after this 25,000, even get this deal, so we can even find out if we even qualify, you know? So we're just asking to, you know, for some support to get the money, so we can go get the study, because they might come back and say, no, that ain't gonna work, you know, and if it doesn't, then we can't go that direction. We might have to go a different direction, but that's gonna give us the basis for the developers also to say, yes, this is good, so now we can go after grants and whatever.
Well, and that will kind of follow in January too. If we have the housing study, then we can go January and do our pre-app, and then that really absolutely tells us that you will qualify or not. So you won't. This money is just $25,000. That's just going to help you get the feel for what you would put there, what is needed, things like that. So, you know, we're very lucky that there's already sewer and water there, so we don't have to, you know, do anything to get it prepared for, except for our corner lot up there that we would like to also include in that, but that's on links and.
So it was my understanding, that, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but the hospital paid for the infrastructure to them properties?
I don't know. I've asked the hospital for that paperwork, and I don't know. So that they've told me there's something, but I haven't received the paperwork.
I'm gonna tell you my thinking on this, and this is just my opinion, which really doesn't amount to much a lot of times, but it is. The hospital purchased this land quite a few years ago with potential future investments. And yeah, I realize the hospital's had trouble down the road, but I think there's still a good time for it. You guys went to the hospital board and you didn't like the answer they got, so now you come to us. You're trying to pit us between two of our entities that we support. Honestly, I'm gonna say the hospital, to me, the hospital has control of that land. I don't like it that one entity can come in and think we're gonna walk over another entity. If not, we'll just go bypass them, we'll go to the commission. And this is what I see is kind of happening with this. And so I think you guys need to be looking for some other land. Because, yeah, you can build houses about anywhere around this town. But if the hospital decides that they're going to come in and do an upgrade a few years down the road, that position of that property will benefit great with where their meadows is at now. So that's just my opinion on it, and my opinion is I'm going to stand with the hospital board on this. So that's where I'm at.
That's perfectly fine, you know, and I appreciate your sentiment there. They've had the property for 25 years and nothing's happened, okay? If they've spent money on it, then tell us what they've spent and we'll see if we can get it in our funding. You know, for them to sit on another 25 years and nothing happened, we're not putting against each other. We went in good faith to try to promote housing. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're put here to promote housing. Okay, we have the support of everybody in the community, the school, the mayor, we have everything, but we have, and I think we have a few hospital board members there in support, but we have a couple that ain't. okay? We're not trying to pit against Jobin. I like Jobin. Jobin's doing a good job. We're not trying to do that at all. We're trying to say, we could use that land and promote this town, promote this community for everything that's coming, okay? I'm not trying to jab Jobin by any means. I mean, you know what I mean? I appreciate what he's doing. I appreciate the fact that he straightened the hospital out. Believe me, we all appreciate that, okay? But we also have a job due to help promote housing, and we feel like we got support everywhere but one entity, okay? And I don't feel like one entity should hold back the whole community. That's just my opinion. Bob has his opinion, I have mine. You guys all have yours, and I can appreciate that, you know? But we are gonna move ahead with this, because we all know we need housing right now. Even Jobin admits he needs housing because he has no place for his nurses and his new doctors. Okay, we've had them conversations with him, we've had them with the or at the school, and all them. We're all fighting this battle. And we all know it's only gonna get worse. And we're looking at a piece of property there. I know that part of the deal we've got kicked back from the hospital, they're afraid it would be detrimental to the meadows. It would hurt the meadows. Well, I really don't believe it will, because anytime you grow something, it brings more people in, the more apt you're gonna have for, it's just law of, anytime something grows, it brings in more.
Right,
Okay.
and the housing needs study would also show, do you want moderate income housing there, or do you need senior housing there?
Right.
We've heard different views on it, and so that's the only reason that we were, gonna see what the housing needs said, so.
And that's all we're after. Get 25,000, we'll see if, there might be a need there and say you're foolish, okay? If we are, we move on somewhere else. I really don't think it will though, I'll be flat honest with you. We've already known we've needed housing for the last 20 years, okay? This is not a new adventure. But now the adventure has moved to the forefront because of things that are happening up north. Now all of a sudden it's more in the forefront. Well, if we don't go ahead and move forward, and maybe this ain't the property we move forward on. If that's what you decide, great. Okay, we're gonna take our corner, we're gonna continue to develop it, we'll try to find some more and keep.
Because you do have to have an area, developers do not wanna come for a spot over here or a spot over there, so that's.
And that's what their area there kind of works out really nice. It's all kind of in a general area, okay? So, anyway, it'll be what it's gonna be, but we're in no way are we downgrading the hospital or
And you
anything like that.
asked us to come back and report to you, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So if you get the $25,000 grant and they do the study, it doesn't mean that you're going to be right on that property.
No, and this is
it's
not a
just
grant.
study.
This is not a grant. This is just funding that the state has that you can use to put towards getting the, housing study, or if you need your site, things like that. This is just beginning money. January is when the pre-app goes in to see if you qualify. Like I said, this is just money ahead of time to even see.
Now, is it a match? There's no match?
No,
grant
this
or
is just
nothing?
money that you can, what happens in the developers, like if, because like we want to develop out our corner, of course, for sure, but if we didn't do it, then you might have to pay back some of the money, which would be through the housing authority budget or whatever we'd have to do.
Does any of this hinder you from working on your corner, as you call it, to start proceed
They
ahead?
probably will not come because 5 acres, to develop that's not gonna be enough. I mean, they wanna come and do, 16
units.
20 units. I mean, that's what we're just trying to get here. We're trying to get
Try and get
housing
enough
here.
land to be able to do that.
They
Okay.
may,
I mean, they're working with us because
They are.
they love what we do and they're
Mhm.
trying,
and they came back to us twice. I mean, because when we said, well, it's just not gonna work out, we don't think, because, we can't quite get everything together, but then they came back and they said, okay, well, what about this? And so we said, well, let's try it again, so,
You said you had 5 acres there?
yeah, at Langston Cross.
Okay. I know where it's at, but I just remember
Yeah,
how many acres
mhm.
was there. And I know that lady that was in here said, what was it, 3 houses per acre? On the housing study,
Yeah, I
that was
think
the
so.
one
I think that is right.
that,
that's putting them pretty tight, but.
yeah.
But, and also with what we're talking about, you get every bit of that because you're talking about like duplexes and stuff like that, because you're looking for moderate income stuff on the corner, where you can bring in your professionals, whether it's somebody for the, fire or water department or somebody at Wolf Creek. Give them another spot to rent until they can find a place to build a house or find a house to buy. Because there's, just go out and look at how many houses are for sale. I mean, what I'm talking, middle to upper range houses that are for sale. There's not very many. If they are for sale, tell me one that's for sale that's empty. Most likely somebody's still living there, hoping to sell it, to go build or do something else. So it's not like there's empty houses just waiting for everybody to rush in, because there's not. There hasn't been for years. We haven't had it for years. I mean, I had this talk probably 10 years ago at a Rotary deal, trying to, get people to realize it. They say, well, there's for sale signs there. Well, yeah, but tell me how many are empty. There is none, or very few. So, and we've had these studies done before, and they all show that we are in desperate need of housing. What this does is it gives us an updated study to say, yeah, this is a doable deal,
For this area.
and this is what you need to be looking at. Is it single family, is it duplexes, is it, that's what this will really help show. And, again, there's in no way are we trying to downplay the hospital.
No.
But
We wanna
we're here
work
to
with
do our
them.
part too.
Yeah.
So,
It's gotta be it's gotta be a partnership where we all work together.
that's
Absolutely.
exactly
You
right.
mentioned it hasn't been done in 25 years, and that's not saying the hospital couldn't do something 2 or 3 years down the road if something crops up. I don't have any problem with going after this 25 or requesting it, because once they do the study, that's no sign we gotta follow their suggestion, correct?
Correct.
But at least we got more information on to make a better decision to move forward.
Well, and it could give us some other options possibly too, of, who knows? You know what I'm getting at. Maybe we find another piece of ground right there close, I don't know.
Does it have to be in Burlington? I mean, there's Wolf Creek and 75 Highway, there's a big piece of property sitting up there that'd be nice for some more
Well,
houses.
they have looked at it. Yes.
That wasn't good
No,
for them.
it's just another option though. But no, we have took them around to several of those, and believe me, I have brought that up to them.
Oh, yeah, we have.
And they, again, it'd have to have streets, and that slows back, just
Yeah.
a little bit and stuff like that. But believe me, if that's our best option, I'm all in, because I have nothing to hold back anything, So, but like I said, this is just going after the 25, get the study done, and we can go from there or whatever, but.
I'm in support of the 25 for the study. I'm in support of that. I'm not in support of taking something from the hospital that they put infrastructure in on.
My opinion on that is, they put the infrastructure in, but what's the difference than putting a water line in the county and then other people hook to it?
Sounds like this is one of those deals we need to sit down and have a work session on. So we can, we as a board can come to
Well, that would be awesome, because I think if there's, in my heart, there's no reason why we should be holding back from anything. You know what I mean? We all need this. The hospital we all need it. If we can all come to this agreement, say, hey, we're all pushing for the same thing. Let's get, we're rowing the boat the same direction. We've got about everybody going direction, but we got a few we need to get, because in the long run, we all need housing. So, and we're all for it. I'd love to have it sit down, whatever we need to do. But we're here to push housing, because that's what we do, so.
And I agree with you on the housing part, Mike, I really do. But I agree with you on the housing part, I really do. But I just think, so that we're not making a knee-jerk decision, so to speak, and we just had a work session and a map in front of us of the lands that they're talking about, because everybody just come to the, so to speak.
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm opposed for the 2,500, because they're looking for a specific piece of ground. That's what it's about. It's about this. It's not about 2,500 to see if we can build houses out in this corner of town or wherever it could be.
It's a study for that
It's for this piece
location.
of ground.
It is a
what the
study,
whole
but it
deal
is saying that you will be
At that location.
at that location. It's not gonna go anywhere else, and you're right, Bob. I mean, it is not, it's not anywhere else, but I do have the map.
You know, you guys own this piece of property on Links, have you ever thought about trying to approach the people that own the property right south of it, and see if
Already
it's
have.
part of theirs?
We already have,
Already have.
Money talks.
absolutely, but we also know
But
that.
they also have to be willing to,
Yeah,
they're nice people, we've talked to them.
we have.
I really think there's a lot of other places in this county that, where housing can be built. It doesn't have, everything always has to be in Burlington, Kansas.
No, and we're not looking at that. This is just our first project, and we'd like to get the developers here. This is where they want to be. We showed them Waverly, we showed them everywhere, you know, that had a area that we could maybe develop and stuff. And so we just wanted to start somewhere with them, so we can get an idea how to do this. And then, and this property was just ready to go. I mean, it definitely could be built on. I mean, and that's the only reason that we were, you know, coming to you with that.
And I'm not denying this property can be built on, but the hospital also had future plans for it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and we're not here to make, you know, enemies or either.
Nope.
We just would like to work together and help them and help us to get housing.
Is it appropriate I could make a comment or not? Please tell me.
hospital board.
Yeah, fire away.
I'm Rosemary Rich. I am on the hospital board of trustees. And I just, first of all, I just wanted to make sure that you all had a copy of the letter that the hospital gave to Rhonda with a copy to the commissioners dated October 26th. If you don't have that, I do have copies here. Okay. It just indicates that the hospital is very willing to work with anyone in our community on improvement. But we just feel we don't have enough information at this time, and that might be something we agree to disagree on. But I also want to emphasize, as I understand Rhonda, that if this study does go ahead, it is on that specific parcel of land. It's not on anything else in the city, is that correct?
It's ours and yours.
It's
Ours?
both pieces of property.
Yes.
It's this whole thing that we should.
It'll kind of be that, generally that whole
But
area.
it does involve the land you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The land
it
around
does.
the meadow,
Yeah.
it's not for anything else in the city, just for that right there.
For the meadows and for ours up on Links and Cross,
Okay.
Okay.
So.
which is 5 acres up there.
And if you're granted that, then, but that does not necessarily give the go-ahead to proceed with development of that land?
No, not until
No.
everybody's in agreement
Yeah.
with
That
that,
won't be assumed
no.
in any way.
But we do need kind of a promise that you're willing
Work
to
with us.
use the land.
The letter here, I believe, indicates our willingness to work with anyone. We just ask for transparency
Yeah.
and to be included in discussion. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Rosemary.
thanks.
But it looks to me like the study is gonna provide some much-needed information on how to proceed ahead.
That's what we're hoping to
That-
get.
That's what,
We gotta
to
start
me, that's
somewhere.
what that study's for.
Mhm,
And with that, we'll have more information to make a better decision on how to proceed,
right.
The commissioners and the hospital board.
working together.
And the housing board.
Yeah, everybody.
Right, but the letter, they do have to have that says that you would use the land if everything worked out to everybody's satisfaction. And that's what they're needing to go ahead to get this money. Because they don't want to give us a study and then, oh, well, we just thought we wanted to do that, you know, I mean, they want to know we're serious too. We have to have something to come to the table for the developers too.
Well, I think we'd have to have some type of blessing from the housing board, or from the hospital board, that stated if this does come to be, if this survey does indicate that this would be perfect for that property, then the housing, or the hospital board would already have to give the blessing to proceed. But if you do the study and the hospital board has not given the blessing to proceed, and you go ahead and continue to do your study, and not all parties are on board. That, I mean, that makes
That's
sense.
exactly what it is.
So, I mean, I would guess, I mean, we do have a letter here from the hospital board saying they would work with, but I'm not comfortable flipping the green light on and not all parties are
That's why I say
hitting together.
a study session, we can have everybody involved, but in this letter from the hospital, I mean, it kinda looks like their concern is what type of housing would be going in next to them. That's, not the housing is a problem, but what type, am I correct in that statement?
That's one correct.
Okay,
They
And that's what
don't,
the study would help provide.
Yes, what is needed there,
so it wasn't senior housing, it was more
moderate income.
Moderate
housing.
up for the moderate.
I think
Not
as
all of
long as
it,
it was
yeah.
not senior housing, I think the hospital board would be 100% for it. If it was specified not senior housing. But
And
if
that's fine.
it's
We
gonna
need
run in,
moderate income housing.
if it's gonna run into interference on some of the stuff that the hospital is, already has vacancies in some of their locations,
I can see
they're
that.
not gonna be for that,
I can see that.
so.
So that's the middle paragraph on this letter from the hospital board. We're not opposed to development, however, there was not sufficient specific information. This is one way to receive some info, through a survey and through a study. You're gonna know exactly, everything that's going on. Give us a better idea to make a decision down the road, and hopefully the hospital board and housing authority and the commission can all come together for the best decision for Coffee County.
That'd be awesome.
That's what we're after,
Yeah.
making the best decision we can for Coffee County. And absolutely not get into conflict with CHS or the housing authority or the
Oh,
commission.
no.
I'm gonna say we're gonna be back here at 2:30 this afternoon. I think it'd be a good time to maybe address some of it if the hospital is available at that time. You guys are available at that time?
Yes.
I would like to do it once.
Sounds like they're gonna be here anyway.
Yeah, so, I would say let's just go ahead and get something on understanding today. Because, I mean, if you get the money, that's for said properties. If the hospital has not gave the green light,
Right, it would do
then
no good.
it'd do no good. And I don't wanna feel like somebody feels pressured, and we wrongfully spend the $25,000 to do something that we don't have access to.
Well, the worst thing is we'd have to pay it back probably.
Yeah, we would have to pay it back.
Right.
And that would probably have to come out of our budget or whatever, but
Right.
we do have a study that's gonna help us. So yeah, if you would meet up again and go over it, that'd be great. We're all for
Good.
making
2:30
something
this
happen.
afternoon.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you later on.
Okay.
My only concern is, we as a board said here, we're gonna meet with a director and a board member. We're gonna meet with a director and a board member. They have no authority on what their
Right.
group's gonna say, and they have no authority, so.
Well, and I think you're basically gonna go to a mutual agreement, and each of them can go to their own board and say, this is where we're at. Do you approve of it or not?
Yeah, I'm okay with
That way
I'm
everybody's
okay-
on the same
I'm okay
page.
with that, but I don't think we should be making any
No.
decisions from just
Well,
their information.
I mean, maybe a decision to do the study. That's the only thing that I believe is tough,
Right.
is to do the
That's the only-
study.
Because they're not opposed to the development.
The hospital board is not opposed to the development, they just wanna make sure it's not gonna interfere in what they already have invested.
I can't blame
them on
that.
I've lost track.
And ready for
You're right on time.
9:50.
Ready for a break, is where you're at.
Ready for a break.
Better enjoy it.
We'll resume at 10 a.m. We're going on break.
I'm gonna take us from.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I turned it back on.
Can't make it 11.
Yeah.
Yes. We can come back, but we can't do anything. If we
Just
don't
make
get
it for
the
50
session.
minutes. Just make it for 50 minutes.
For 50 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
For 45 minutes, that gives us, I honestly don't see it taking 4 or 5. I really don't.
You just did
Well-
that would give you time to take a break on the way back.
If we do one at 45, they all three need to be done at 45.
Well, and I told them all they were getting 50 minutes, because that's what Sydney recommended.
50 minutes is what you
Okay,
said.
we'll just do 50 minutes.
50 is what you had in that one
Okay, we're back.
correspondence.
Yeah.
Okay, so hence the time, 10, 11, 12, okay, good enough,
She said to give you guys breaks between each.
good enough.
Are we back?
We're back.
So that we have the right statutory ground to go into an executive session under KSA 19-216E sub 4 big A. And I'll just read, this is phase 3 of the construction management at risk procedure. And under that section, it says, once all proposals have been submitted, the board shall interview each of the pre-qualified firms in executive session, allowing for the competing firms to present their proposed team members, qualifications, project plan, and to answer questions. All other discussions and any actions taken in the selection process shall be conducted in an open meeting. So that's the executive session subsection, and the first firm is Nabholz, and they have several members here: Jeff Gaddis, Preston Moore, Tom Camp, Jeremy Branson, and Amy Hyatt. Also, we will the request to go into executive session along with the board and myself, here, Tom Johnson, Sydney Goldberg, and Kurt Krambeck from Goldberg Architects
For 50 minutes.
for 50 minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Tim moved,
Second.
Tom second.
Is Eric Smith gonna be sitting in?
No.
Okay.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
You,
We will return at 11 o'clock.
if you need to. I don't know.
Next group here.
You got the names for the next group?
Yeah, Universal
Right, yeah.
Construction.
Universal Construction.
This one was from Kansas City, right?
Lenexa.
Lenexa.
All right, here's a,
That's their stuff you'll take to the meeting.
Just you or you? No, you got more, Kelly. Okay.
wait, that's their packet.
Gentlemen?
All right.
Hey. Do you have an HDMI that we can
We're
plug in?
gonna go to a different room. We
Oh,
just
okay.
need your name.
Sure. Archie.
You all right? No sneezing loud. No laughing.
What city you from?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yeah. Let's see, make sure we can. Archie Smith,
Gary Walker.
Gary Walker. Okay.
So are you going elsewhere? Is that what I?
Yeah, as soon as we make a motion to,
Got it.
go into executive session.
Awesome.
Would request the board make a motion to move into executive session under KSA 19-216E for Big A. This is for phase 3 of the construction management at risk process, specifically for the board to interview
pre-qualified firm in executive session, allowing competing firm to present their proposed team members' qualifications, project plan, and to answer questions. I believe it's for 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Myself, the board, Archie Smith from Universal, Gary Walker from Universal, Sheriff Tom Johnson, Sidney Goldberg, and Ken Kraxberg from Goldberg Architect. Cranbeck, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Don's moved,
All second.
Tim second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We will enter at, we'll just return here at 12 o'clock. For 50 minutes.
Low, stop sign.
I'm not what gets lit.
Oh, yeah.
We learned.
All right, we're back, just in time for another one.
There's three.
All right, once again, same statute. Request executive session under KSA 19-216E for Big A. This will be specific to the construction management at risk process, phase 3 specifically. And the board shall interview each of the pre-qualified firms in executive session, allowing the competing firms to present their proposed team members' qualifications, project plan, and to answer questions. That's what the motion's for. Myself, the board, the sheriff, Sidney Goldberg, Kurt Cranbeck, and from River City, Gabe Rodriguez, Joe Seymour, and Warren Moody. 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
All makes a motion.
Tim's moved.
Second.
Tom seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. We will be back here at 1 o'clock.
You could offer those guys
I did.
snacks
I
and
did. We've already
since
had.
they're hanging around.
We've already had some.
we won't go away.
Yeah.
Actually, it's an open session. Like I done this is that.
If we're gonna need Wade to lead us through all this.
We're back in session. We're waiting for 1 o'clock. Wade Bowie executive session. CHIPS project.
He should already be, if he's not in his office, with the other attorneys. Upon Wade's recommendation, I request going to executive session for discussion of attorney-client privilege.
KSA 75-4319B2,
Yes, sir.
legal counsel, consultation.
To include the commissioners, County Counsel Wade Bowie, Charles Branson, Alex Green, and David Cooper, and myself, Bobby Skipper.
And this is for 1 hour. Is that correct, or
Yes.
1 hour?
I think it's gonna take
He
that
told me
long.
1 hour.
Or we need to go a little shorter and go back if we have to.
You can if you want. You can
Doesn't
have
matter.
30-minute chunks.
30 minutes?
We could do that.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're blocked. You can't do anything for 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're stuck for.
Well,
an
let's
hour.
just do it for 45 minutes.
Okay.
If we can't get everything discussed in 45 minutes, we'll come back for another.
They just approved your executive session.
Wait, is it gonna take a full hour?
Nope.
Or 45?
Start with 30,
Start with 30?
but what did we go in under?
Your KSA 75-4319,
Okay.
B2.
Yep, be attorney-client, but we need to state who's gonna be a party.
Yep,
We
you
did,
did.
Bobby did.
You did.
Bobby already said.
Yep.
Charles Branson.
We're on to a
Allison,
motion
David Cooper.
Okay.
and a second.
I'll second.
I'll move.
Okay.
Don second. Any discussion?
This has nothing to do with what's happening in Waverly.
That is correct.
We know that.
That is correct.
I just wanna make sure.
That's correct.
And then the 215 is where they're being.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll return here at 1:35.
Got us all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're back.
So you're not going back into executive session, right? At this
No,
time?
not
For
to,
that? Okay.
yes, no.
Carl has just a couple minute thing, if you can
Okay.
please him in.
Well, yeah, we wasn't to do anything till 2:15, so.
Yeah,
Is that an executive session still, 2:15?
I don't know. Wade said some of it maybe, some of it not, but there's a room full of people in the basement.
Ray probably was telling us.
Hello, Carl. How are you, sir?
Oh, good. Go ahead.
This is just a quick, what it is I've been working, Marilyn and I's been working complaints up at Agricola. I've got a couple new landowners up there, and one of them's cleaning up one of our worst situations in Agricola. It's, by the last name of Larson's. I haven't done the paperwork, but I was gonna see if I could get the landfill fee waived for them. What it is they took this property and they took and cleaned out the entire house, the sheds and everything was in the yard, and bring it to the front of the place. And Tim has seen it himself. And what it is I told them there's a chance you may waive the landfill fees if they could bring it down here. They live exactly 26 miles from Franklin County landfill and 26 miles from Coffee County landfill. And what they was gonna do is get they're Coffee County residents. They're moving from Franklin into Coffee County.
That picture does not do it.
No, it doesn't. I'd have to bring up.
Garage sale.
I was gonna say, there's nothing worth taking there.
One man's junk, another one's treasure.
Yeah, and probably a good 20 foot long, maybe 30.
Well, what's the difference of them cleaning that place up and somebody buying a house and then cleaning the house and the junk with it up?
Well, what it is the previous renters, Roger Shoemaker actually owns the property. They're gonna try to purchase the property back from Roger. But what they're doing is cleaning the property completely up, and they're wanting, and they're gonna live there, is what they're gonna do. They're gonna homestead there in Agricola now. And they're gonna buy all the Rogers, land that he has there, which will be up around 4 acres when it's all said and done, 3 to 4 acres. And this is just a sample of what's there.
So what's the
Do I need to
address?
make a motion?
I haven't got the paperwork finished up yet. Roger is current on his tax.
Is there an address?
204
Main Street, right?
Main Street, it'd be Waverly, even though it's in Agricola, because it's under Portland. So it'd be 204 Main Street, Waverly, Kansas.
And it's owned by,
It's owned by Roger Shoemaker.
Probably need to say Agricola, Waverly, Kansas, so that they will know, because otherwise we're Steve's house.
Right.
I don't know how that ever worked, but that's the address out there.
okay, and it's owned by Roger Shoemaker?
And it'd be Dale and Shelley Larson is the people cleaning it up.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is getting everything pushed up out towards the streets when they bring in either a dump truck or a roll-off. Then they could take a skid steer loader and put it all into and then get it cleaned up.
I'm sorry, Dale and who?
Shelley Larson, Larson.
And they are a Coffee County resident now.
They will be moving there. I'll be up there
But
this
the
afternoon.
Shoemaker's a Coffee County resident.
He's a Franklin County resident, but he owns land in Coffee.
Well, I look at the problems in Coffee County.
Yeah.
And you got somebody that's willing to invest the time, invest the money to come to Coffee County?
And I'll be going back up this afternoon. I got another person I'm meeting with on another nuisance complaint that's up there. Talk with him. So, but his situation isn't that bad. No.
I move to waive landfill fees for the structure located at 204 Main Street, Agricola, Waverly, Kansas, owned by Roger Shoemaker, cleaned up by Dale and Shelley Larson.
Is it really for the structure?
they cleaned this, what it is they've cleaned that structure out to clean the property up because the previous people left solid waste completely across the
Me just
property.
hearing that,
Okay,
it
so,
sounds like we're taking the structure down. It's
Yes.
cleaning the structure.
okay, so
up.
just take off structure,
Yeah.
Yeah,
waiving landfill fees.
for trash,
For trash.
for what it is, trash.
Contents, but we don't wanna call somebody else's stuff trash.
No, solid
Or
waste.
contents located at 204. Is
Yeah.
that okay?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Tim's moved, Tom seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, guys, that's all I had.
Thank you.
Keep it simple.
Take care of yourself. We've got a little bit of time. Do we wanna no, we've gotta wait until the, hospital and the housing is back this way.
There's stuff to sign there for you, Judge, and there's some special issue checks.
Should there be a signature for the disposal of the
Oh, you
lights?
don't need to sign that, I'm sorry. That's mine. You need to sign the letters. And that modern air thing. And you did need to do that motion because you were signing it. When you said
For
earlier.
modern air?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they had to authorize the director to
Okay.
sign that. And then that's the transportation letter.
I think we do have a small immigration problem.
That is,
This is $130 an hour, up
oh,
to
no,
$200.
that's, you guys are reviewing that for
Okay.
next week, so. that's all you need.
Executive session 2:15. Is there some new information that,
I think I need to speak with, the CEO from the hospital before, I don't know if he's here, they're coming
Oh.
back.
okay. I know you spoke with him before. So, So, Wade, the last executive session, and then this contract that we was presented this morning, I just wanna make sure we're not overlapping people.
What contract? No, that is, these guys, government assistant services, which is something completely different.
Completely different.
The guys who you just met there with, Mr. Branson, Cooper, and Fisher Patterson. Yes, they're with Fisher Patterson.
Yeah, no, that's why I was throwing the numbers out there earlier.
Who knows the profession? It does.
Do we meet with these people now, or what we do?
I think just wait until Joe can get here.
Too big.
We get a small break.
Yeah, we can take a small break,
So not to,
or we can go to round table.
so there's, unfortunately, an executive session, a short one, that we'll need in reference to the turkey shoot and potential litigation related to the county that we'll need to cover at some point, but. Do we wanna do that now?
We can hit it now, can we?
We have time now.
Would it take 10 minutes, 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
Probably 10 minutes.
We're already spending over an hour in regular session today. We've only been here.
So it would be myself, the board, attorney-client, 785, 4319B2, and it'll be for legal advice related to county, the turkey shoot, and potential liability for the county, related to county insurance. I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will enter at 1:53 for 10 minutes.
Did you get all that?
I did, believe it or not.
If we're out, then we're in again.
So down, what do we got?
Huh? I don't know. We got two.
It's not on yet.
No, it's not. He just
What?
wants it over. Johnson, Tim, Tom.
Yeah.
What's,
Don't blame me.
That was our work session. I think we was talking
Correct.
about doing it right after we did the interviews, to come back in and decide who we picked.
correct.
But that's gonna have to be after the
Correct.
2:15, whatever debacle that is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now we're waiting on Wade.
I think he's disgusting.
He's been sidetracked down there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
And I think he's.
he got sidetracked outside?
Yeah.
Okay. He made it up the steps?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as he made it up the steps.
Before you get like coffee. Maybe not. Maybe that was Joe.
Yes, that's Joe.
Here's Wade.
All eyes on you, Wade.
All eyes on me.
Yes.
Scared me.
Can he leave?
Stage fright.
No.
Are you here for the hospital session?
There's a room full of people.
Yeah. In
Basement
the
meeting.
basement, I don't know if you wanna go on down there?
Are they in
Yeah, they're in the basement. You know where that's at? Okay.
The elevator's right here if you want to take the elevator. I'm thinking about taking the elevator.
I think I will too. I've got my steps on it.
I don't know how to run the phone.
I don't know how to run a phone. Okay. I'll be honest. This is on the hospital as of right now.
Your strength's looking better.
Have at it.
That's a little worn now.
I thought it was a bottle of water when I bought it last week.
might be by now.
No, nobody's opened it, so, to my knowledge anyway.
No.
Anybody like Sprite? Or on ice, say hammer.
I don't know what to expect.
Maybe I'll just have a meeting here and then people.
Right, so if I understand right, because of the number of people that are here, we need to move downstairs. Do we know how many people are downstairs?
I don't, not
More
yet.
than one.
There's,
Last we saw, there was 20 to 30.
Yeah.
20 to 30? Okay.
There could be more by now.
Yeah, I think initially that's gonna start out in an open session.
Okay.
Okay.
And then if it pivots into something that will trigger an executive session, then we'll deal with that accordingly.
Alright.
So,
Do we need a motion to move downstairs?
Yeah, I think we'll need something because we're moving from one location to.
We're not recorded down there.
And we're
I
not
told-
recorded.
I told Brad, I don't know, he said he would see if he could get something set up, so I haven't been down there since.
Well,
Can't Jesse
Let me
just
go.
call that we're moving? Can't Jesse just make a decision that we're moving because of space?
yeah, I think we have to, but if we need to see if it can be recorded.
It'll have to be
first.
recorded.
Well, if at all possible. I mean, this is sort of a unique situation, so as long as efforts are being made to maintain a recorded session, let me go pop my head down and see if Brad has that set up.
Mark has a.
We'll wait for you.
Got a recorder.
That's being recorded.
That's true.
Share with the link then.
I do.
Appointment, can I have that my predecessor? Yeah, don't worry about this.
there's some cookies up here.
It's
guys.
not our call.
Are you serious?
At this time, it's not our call.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think
Have you already had some?
I think they ate all the goodies, Robert. Steve.
I wasn't the first.
Or the last.
Those are really good.
They are good.
And one company brought them in. I don't know where they came from.
That's what.
I like the old sour cream frosting.
Town Center Plaza, Leewood, Blue Chip Cookies.
Those are Missouri cookies.
We figured that's part of the open session, right? So.
It is. Open box, open session.
Mhm.
So is this something we need to deal on today?
I think so.
Well,
That-
they said you didn't have to do it today.
Well, we don't have to, but
They
it's
said
fresh
wait
in our
until
mind.
Wade, yeah, unless
I
you're,
mean,
And then we've got the three
If
contractors.
Wade's ready, we probably wouldn't hurt to move on with some of this stuff. Keep, instead of just,
It's piling up.
put it on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we got,
Halloween parade getting ready to start up here. Oh, that's what it was.
Oh, can we go?
Take those cookies with you.
Yeah, those are trees.
Go to that one, great. You,
I'm waiting for a refrigerator.
These three construction firms that we interviewed. There's Tom, I know Tom's done a lot of background check. Do we need to have him in to get,
we're gonna go back into executive session.
we're gonna go, we'll go back into.
we'll go back into executive
session
for that?
To, with Tom and Sydney and the other guy from Goldberg.
they're still here.
Yes.
They're downstairs.
Yeah, they're downstairs.
Waiting.
Okay.
Wonder if they still teach parallel parking.
Okay.
We don't have video equipment set up, but Brad is gonna try to record on his phone, and then we'll do what he can to upload it. And there'll just have to be a break. But I think that will meet the spirit of the Open Meetings Act.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do we, motion to move into the downstairs meeting room due to
Can you
population?
just call that as the chairman? You can just call it, we're moving down there.
Okay. We're gonna move down to the downstairs meeting room due to the size of,
20-some people. Probably out of necessity.
we don't know how long this is gonna take, so there's really,
No, but if
I
it,
didn't know what it was.
There goes the feeling.
Sun going down yet.
My friend's time hasn't changed.
Bob go home, he forget to come up here?
No, you can't lose that either.
All right, we're back in our commission chambers,
And we have people in the basement too,
and we have people waiting for us in the basement.
in executive session.
Now,
But not the 2:15 executive
No.
session, because they're,
The 2:15?
well, so originally on the agenda, it was a executive session to speak to the hospital. I'm not sure if they still want to. We're good, okay.
I think they're come back to wait for the housing
Correct.
work session.
Which,
We still have leftovers downstairs that we've got to go tend to, so if y'all got just, what are we gonna have, 30 minutes
Probably.
downstairs, Wayne?
unless we want to do this next week with them, I mean, I hate to do that, but.
I hate pushing it off, but it's up to them.
You make it work for you guys.
Well, next week,
We can do
Or-
30-minute executive or whatever.
Cause we won't be back up till 4 o'clock or so, so we just, I'll leave it up to you guys.
if you're here when we get back, we know you wanted to do it.
All right.
How's that?
Well,
Oh, we gotta make a motion.
well, wait. So I need I left that statute downstairs.
Which one?
You don't have it. It's the one that deals with, you're talking about the construction manager.
Uh-huh.
KSA,
Oh, I still have it, wait.
KSA,
Well,
well, no, that's the one Bobby had.
no, it's to make sure we can go in to executive session to discuss the next part.
KSA 754319, that's one.
I've got it on my computer.
Okay, we'll wait for you.
So, anybody wanna throw in some input? We've got a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Wade leaves, he's always gone for 10 or 15 minutes.
We can have a talk session, I guess. Rosemary and Joe been,
So,
that was a very tough decision that everybody had to make. No matter how you do it, there's gonna be unhappy people. I didn't like the phone call. More likely, I didn't like it because I was the only one that knew about it. At that point in time, other than the board and yourself. Very tough decision, and I appreciate Dr. Shell coming in and helping take some of the heat as well. That's the same decision I'm gonna be faced with one of these days, I'm sure, so. It's not an easy decision. We're still waiting on Wade.
I know, I told you when he's gone, he's always gone. for
Yeah.
15 minutes.
So you wanna talk with Liz a little bit about that while we're waiting on Wade?
I'm just gonna throw out ideas, if I may, or my thoughts. Looking at this map, so it'd be south of the meadows, there's 8.7 acres, and then
grab my map, hold on one
That
second.
includes the meadows.
That includes the 8.7 includes the meadows and the back side, which would be to the south, and that is zoned multifamily. And
Okay, so
then,
we don't know how many exact acres is back behind those.
Probably around 4.
yeah, it's about,
Okay.
yeah, just flip that, yeah,
All right.
uh-huh.
Well, that makes a big difference in my scaling here.
And then the 4.9 acres is single family that's across from that, it's zoned that already. And then the multifamily is the 2.9 acres that are to the north of the meadows, and it's zoned multifamily already.
So, and the hospital's saying they're concerned about something to be in direct competition with them, would be
Well,
senior
and I think there was
housing.
some miscommunication, because we thought that they really wanted to gear more towards the senior housing, and that's why we were throwing that word out. We don't have to do senior housing there. We want to do multifamily, whether it be moderate income or senior, or whatever the study would say to us that, hey, it looks like you need this here. In the very get-go, from what I understand, it was zoned the multifamily because they wanted the apartments there, and then when they were ready, they would move into the assisted living, and then they were thinking of doing a nursing home at one point. That's what I understood, and I could be wrong.
I think that was part of the plan that was referred to downstairs back in maybe 2010, 2012, when they brought architects in, and they did have quite a development plan, and it was somewhat like Rhonda said, hoping, planning at that time that the hospital, Coffee Health System would be the driver for it, for all of the different parts.
So we already did that. Well, it's in terms of executive session.
What is moderate?
Well, like, the triplexes we're doing, there's a grant out there that you can receive that's for moderate income families. And luckily, in Coffee County, our income is good, so, it would be for your teachers. I mean, like I say, over here on the triplex, I have one person that works at, Countertop Trends, one did work at Hoover's, and one worked at the hospital. That's who would fit into that, when we first built it. And, now two of them are still in there, one's retired, and then one still works at Countertop, and then the other one has changed. And we're over our 5-year commitment that we had to keep it as moderate income housing, but we wanna have it for the, there's always been for low income people, there's always been quite a bit of funding out there, but now they're kinda trying to do it for the middle guy.
Okay, wait back.
Sorry, I just need a little conversation, educate us,
Yeah,
or
sure.
refresh my memory, if you will.
So the question is, the statute we've been operating under, KSA 19-216E, D, 4, big A, and I'll just read it again. Board shall interview each of the pre-qualified firms in executive session, allowing the competing firms to present their proposed team members' qualifications, project plan, and to answer questions, which 3 different firms have now gone through that process. The next sentence, all other discussion and any actions taken in the selection process shall be conducted in an open meeting. So I'm not sure.
So we can't go into executive
So that
session.
says all other discussion.
Has to be in an open meeting.
I mean, unless there's something I'm missing.
Cause you're down there discussing, the 3.
My line of thinking, and I could be wrong, is you intentionally don't have the
those who are being interviewed do it in an open session, so you can go through, but then after they've already been interviewed now.
So the material we got in the executive session, we can't have it up here to discuss anything about them in an open session.
Well, I think now you probably can. And you have to go through the grading, part of what's statutorily required is the percentage grading process. So,
Is it a coin flip?
I don't like coin flips.
Okay.
If you want, go into deal with the thing you're here for, then I'll go down and
I don't have a problem discussing it up here in open session personally. It doesn't matter to me.
But you don't have any of the.
I don't have any of the paperwork.
Exactly, so while the paperwork's being gathered, you can work on something else.
Okay. We'll wait for you. We'll wait for you to come back. We'll continue with the Broadband housing thing.
Rosemary, I have a question.
Excuse me, don't mean to walk in.
The biggest hospital's concern is the property just north of the Meadows? Do you care about the property south of the Meadows?
Gentleman has some thoughts on that, I think he might want to share.
So I think Rosemary and the board and us feel very comfortable with the 4.9. Of course, I'm talking for the board right now. The 4.9, we feel very comfortable, that could be a great opportunity for housing. The 2.9.
That is south of the Meadows. It's 4.9.
I'm sorry, the 4.9.
Oh, the 4.9, okay.
To the east.
Right, I mean, in fact, I had no problem with the 4.9, but I'm talking about just get over on the Meadows side.
Correct. On the 2.9, north of the Meadows, that's where, and then again, it was my first presentation with Rhonda and Mike, which I know there was some history with the previous CEO and James on what they presented to the board. And then when they presented the senior housing, it was actually cheaper for someone to live there than it is the Meadows. Now granted, we prepare the meals and things like that. So that was where we got concerned with that what would go in that 2.9. But in the last couple of, I would say, since the middle of September, we've been looking at that piece for something a little different. I don't know if Carl from the health department has talked to you all, but we've been working together on maybe an opportunity. Our EMS quarters are from the early 1990s, and where our ambulance providers live, they're a Murphy bed setting, so they're 2 feet apart where the bed comes down. And with COVID, it really put us in a pickle where we have to spread them throughout all variety of different areas. So we felt like that if we could look at some other avenue of putting a new EMS bays, sleeping quarters, that might be an opportunity to redo the whole setup. So we've been talking about that since I've been here, and James was on top of that before he left. But in the meanwhile, we started working with Carl as he got into his new role, and I went to meet him and all that, would there be an opportunity for them to be relocated somewhere else out of this building, and maybe we come together and build a new building. And then earlier on, Bobby Skipper introduced us to Karen with Flint Hills Tech College in Emporia about them needing somewhere to put a location or maybe an opportunity for an LPN program or the dental program. So we've been working with her on could we all come together? Well, then Crosswinds got brought in a couple months ago as well on could they need to find a better facility here in the county? Could we all put something together on that 2.9 piece of land for what we call the business building? And so we're all within that building. And so we've been meeting with, as of last week even, met with all parties involved. So that's kind of where our mind was thinking most recently, the last couple of weeks. We had looked at some other areas around the hospital, but Dr. Shell suggested that we, utilize some of the land that we already have for an opportunity to not have to go out and buy or look for more land. So that's where we've been thinking for the last month and a half or so, is that 2.9 for possibly something to partner with Carl and Crosswinds with
So the 2.9 is your concern that you don't want to part with at the present time?
Well, and in addition to that, the area directly to the south of the meadows, we also would like to preserve that for the hospital. Hopefully, one of these days, we'll be able to develop it as we'd like to, as was originally thought possibly we could do. We would like to reserve that as well as the area right to the north.
Well, I guess my thinking on this is, in the meeting we just had, and I've seen improvements in the hospital since I've been on this board, tremendous improvements, is the Waverly may be shutting down, but if it ever gets back to the point where staffing is available, there may want to be built a new life care type of center. And I personally don't want to take away that property that to me is the perfect location, especially if something like this does go north of there, your mental health and all that comes together. So, okay, that's what I was just wondering. But the 4.9, I've never had a problem with getting rid of that anyway, myself. Because to me, that's where housing ought to be.
What's your feeling on that?
Well, I get what you guys are going for and everything, and I think, your facility that you're talking about would probably be better behind your meadows in with conjunction with the meadows is what I would think. But I mean, here I am trying to build up housing. If you're only giving me like single family housing and then I have mine, I don't know if I can get developers here to do that, because that won't be enough to entice them to come build, because of course they want an area. And that's the only reason, since this is already zoned multifamily, because for the, the areas, that's the only reason I was inquiring if we could go ahead and do that, since it's already zoned out. But, of course, yeah, I'm glad that you released the single family, that's great, I just don't know if I can get a developer to come out, I don't know.
Well, I guess the biggest deal I would ask is if we can at least go after the 25,000 to see where it lands. And the worst case scenario, if it doesn't go, we have to pay it back. And, we'll take that upon ourselves at the Housing Authority to cover it if it comes down to that. But we would at least like the option to see if, I don't know. I get what they're trying to do, 100%. I'm all support of the hospital, believe me. What they went through downstairs, I give them kudos. I've been through them before, and they're not pleasant.
But you're wanting to get the loan for the property that they don't want to get rid of. That's what you're going out. That's what you're going after, the grant, whatever.
Well,
you're asking to go out for that specific property, and they say, we don't want to get rid of it right now, so why go for that
Here's what it
the
does.
land that they don't?
Here's what it does. It opens up that for not only the property we have, but also the 4.9 acres. Okay, so we are getting something out of it by getting the 25,000. If they back out of the others because there's something else, well, at least we have something and we can move forward. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to be hard, but we're trying to get it out there too, because we still need to make something happen.
I think we all know that they want to keep their spot, and I'm totally fine with that. But if it can be done to where, looking at the other two properties, I'm for the study.
The study will give us some information on the 4.9.
Well, and I tell you what it's going to do. It's going to give them information probably on the meadows too.
On the meadows too.
It should help us all, because there might be such thing as they come back and say, well, if you had more moderate income housing, it will help this product here. And the reason I say that is, I've built houses in New Strong, and I can tell you at least 3 of those houses I built, the people that moved in here were parents of people that worked here. They want to be closer to their kids and their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, when you're building housing for professionals, you're not only building housing for professionals, but when they find out what a cool community this is, and a great hospital system, great schools, it drags in the others, okay? It's no different than the people that were downstairs, Their parents are down the road. That's what upsets them. Okay, we get that. And that's what will happen when you start building stuff. you know, people will draw in other people.
Okay, Rhonda, can I speak?
It's your floor, dude.
Yeah. Can you do the 5 acres that you own and the 4.9 acres over here? Can't you just do those?
Well,
and
that's
go
what
out?
I'm saying, I don't know if I can draw a developer for that or not, when I was trying to get all this. I
I
don't
know,
know that,
but
but I think we could try.
My point is, why try to get it, why work on getting something for something that they're saying we're not going to give up?
I totally understand that, Bob, and I
So-
don't want to take it, that's why I want everyone to be
So-
you know.
And I would have no problem, if you can do it for the 4.9 and your 5, I will support it. But I'm not going to support it when you're trying to add land in that they're not willing to give up. There's no reason to be
You
doing
don't
it.
want to see what could be
I don't-
a possibility.
That is the hospital deal. I don't care what the possibility is, they're not willing to give it up for that.
No, it's because you wanna put blinders on and say,
Yeah.
this is where I'm going, I don't care about nothing else.
That's not what I said, Mike.
Well, that's kinda
So
what you're
quit
saying.
trying to put words into my mouth.
No, I'm
Just
just, what I'm trying to say
That's
is,
it, Mike.
I
That's
want-
okay. That's okay. This, like I said, this is our meeting.
yes, sir.
We've heard you, so.
Yes, sir.
I will support you on the 4 9s and the 5, but I'm not gonna support you on the other. So that's just where I'm at. And the rest of the board can do what they want.
I don't think it hurts to open up the study for the whole thing, because you don't know exactly what that's gonna open doors. Might even be a plus for the hospital down the road. You know, I heard here today, the hospital's had it for 25 years and haven't done nothing with it. They may have another 10 years and not do nothing. At what point in time do you turn loose and make something happen? And I understand where you're at, Bob. But there is a point in time of no return. You need to take another direction and move ahead.
We just want to
I'll
see what
also
it-
add this, with what just took place downstairs, I think it's a poor time to bring up what we just brought up. If you wanna know my opinion,
About building something?
yeah.
Or where would the funds come from to build something for $2, $3, $4 million?
Yeah.
Where would the funds come from to do that?
I think it's a pretty bad time when we just went through what we went through.
As far as like wanting to build housing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's not where you, that's not.
the nursing home,
I got you.
I think that's pretty bad timing.
Well, and they can't help what's happening either.
No, I get that, but there's a better time.
But, anyway,
The study makes no commitment.
study makes no commitment,
Correct.
but if we don't utilize it in some way, we'll have to pay money back.
But let's stop there a minute. It does make somewhat of a commitment because you are making a resolution that you are letting us go forward with this. You are also saying that we are taking a look at doing this. I can't say it's not a commitment.
Okay.
It does not put us into an application until January. But these developers do not want to do all this work if we're not gonna, I mean, I'm gonna go back to them and say, like, if you only say I can only have this and this to do any work on, I'm gonna go back and say, this is all they're definitely sure about. They'll take a look at this, but will you come for that?
We'll have to ask them.
Right, I have to make sure that they proceed, and I think they will, but they do want you to take a look at these others and say, hey, this is your option, do you wanna do it? And then they'll see whether it's feasible for them to come and do it. It doesn't make us say that that's just exactly it is, you have no say in it, nothing like that, but it does say it's a commitment that you're willing to use this land to try to develop out, if we get the
So
funding.
the willingness to use land right now, it sounds like, so into 4.9 and to 5.
Well, can we get a commitment from you guys and the board that if we go back and they will at least do the study on those 2 sections, which is gonna include everything, but if they will still do the study, since that we've shrunk it down, at least we can move forward with something.
And that's enough for your developer, the 4.9?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Do we
But I
do
need
we
the letter, because it's already set in the state, if you guys okay it, as far as at least getting us in line to look at our money to get the 25,000, because everybody's getting this money, everybody wants this money.
We might not even get it.
No, we may not.
If the support money is for the 4.9 and your 5 acres, I have no problem with it. I will support it. But if you're going to include the other pieces into it, I'm not going to support it.
I think what she's trying to say is the city includes it, there's no, they don't have to.
As long as it doesn't specify that those are the other two properties. If they say it's for these two.
And this is a
and
letter,
they
which I
include
gave
the
you all
others,
a copy of it. The only thing I did was I changed and I took out senior housing, since that wasn't a good fit. I just put rental units. I can do anything with that, of course. But that was a letter, and that's what it's gonna say going to the Kansas Department of Commerce.
The letter I got dated, September 27th?
Yeah, and the only thing is I changed, and I'll give you a new one if you want, because I took out.
Yeah, 'cause it still says senior,
Yeah, let me
senior
get that.
rentals.
Yeah, I just went back to the office after we talked, and I
Okay,
said,
okay.
hey, why don't I get that out there, and stop confusing everyone on that, then. And that in the mouth, and. There's just that one.
Thank you. Can't believe all the rigmarole we went through with Southeast Kansas.
I know, it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just that they have, I know, I was like, can't I use it? And they're like, no, because they just want the specific area for this money. You know, it's, everybody's got their own little
Yeah, they do.
deal.
So this doesn't really specify any place.
No.
No, it doesn't, it's just county, it's county land that you have. I'm gonna show them the map and say, you know, that this is, we've been talking about it to the developers. But you technically own it, being the county, we own our corner, so we have to also do a letter too.
My only concern is that if you were to be given the loan and, you know, it states in here what you're building and so forth, that it would be the assumption that that's what would move forward. And that's the only thing that concerns me.
I guess that's exactly what I'm saying too, is if you go in and you say this, and you show them this map and say, these are the areas we're looking at, that's where they're gonna assume that that's where it's gonna be built. So my theory is, you show them the 4.9, you show them the 5, and they can assume those are where it's gonna be built if they're gonna do it. Leave the others out of it.
We won't have to actually show the state or any funding until January, where we are specifically wanting to build. Again, if you, and I think I gave you a copy of that too, but there's also on the shove, it says you can use this 25,000 for these items. And one was to get the, design on there and say, okay, the study says we need, because you can use it for the study, you can use it for, the layout, which is what we'd really like to see. Find the paper now. Do you all have this one that says the description of the show?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If you look at the alcohol use of the funds, this is all you can use that 25,000 for. Site control costs, which are gonna, you know, I mean, what I want to go after is the architect preliminary working and drawing. That's what I would like to go after. And seeing what we need on the study.
That would give us a view of what could fit in there.
Right.
It would give us all, let's say, you know, X amount of units, such and such, you know what I mean? So you're not just looking at a bare piece of land, you'd be like, oh, hey, that could
So
be
what's
five.
your 5 acres designated? I mean, you got designated multifamily.
It's still, it is still out there as, agriculture, because we haven't had it rezoned yet. We're gonna.
We're gonna get a rezone, but
Yeah.
it kinda goes off of whether we get multifamily or what we do.
Because
So.
we have to find someone that wants to build on that.
And I don't wanna change it to single family and all of a sudden we get a multifamily, you know, so we're.
With the study comes is when you was on it for
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of what we want to do.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Now, is there a private water line there?
City has a water line along Cross Street. There's a fire hydrant out there across, and what is that, 16, ladies.
16, whichever.
we'll see a little bit.
So, and we have talked to the city about, you know, getting water and stuff out there. The biggest deal on our 5 acres is the sewer. The sewer is down there, actually on the east side. Well, I take it back. It does go across their 2.9 acres, but it's only a 4-inch line that was put in to get the church going. But in order to really make it work, we need to relay a new line from the main, which is on the east side of whatever street that is going down the Meadows, clear out there. Is that I've already shot it. When I put the sewer in for the Christian church, I was trying to get them to spend a little more money then and do it right, but everybody's like, no, we just get a sewer. So, you know, we ran a 4-inch line to get a sewer.
Well, I can honor what the hospital wants to keep in their side, on their side. I don't have a problem with that. But as long as, and like you say, the study will include that, but we don't have to act on the property that the hospital wants. We can opt out on that.
Well, we're
But
gonna see if they would do it, yes.
the developers might not wanna come in because of the lack of acreage.
I just want you to be aware.
So you need to go find out if they wanna come back
No,
in?
I wanna just get, I
You
wanna
wanna
get a
get that.
definite of what you will do today, so I can say, this is what I for sure have. And then, if they tell me no, well then, of course, the resolution's no good and the letter's no good, and I'll let you know that,
So
but,
we'll have to make a resolution after we approve, if we approve this?
they do want a resolution, but I need the letter the worst today, but yeah.
We need the letter so we can even put our name in the hat.
If you approve it, don't you have to take it back to your board for approval?
My board approved it at our board meeting for whatever we can get going on the developing. This is the 25,000 again. My board is very aware of that. We wanna see what we can get going there, or at least on ours, but ours is not enough to do it alone.
If you get a resolution prepared, then we can take action on it.
I did not make a resolution. I didn't know if I was supposed to for that, or whether one of the girls would have to do that, so, I don't know.
You have to have it tonight.
I
Not
need
the
the letter
resolution.
today,
Just the letter, just the
and the
letter.
resolution you can follow up with.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Letter of support.
letter of support for the housing authority to go with a $25,000 shovel program for the properties 4.9 and 2.9.
I don't think we have to list
Okay,
that.
we don't have to list that. The letter that he has provided is what they want to send back just on your letterhead
Right.
from you.
Okay.
So if you're okay with that letter that I just gave you, then
It
no.
specifies no properties
That's
whatsoever.
right. No property
It
at all.
does not, because we're just trying to get the money
Okay.
to go out on whatever property we decide.
So the motion.
And if it was approved, I would think there'd be enough flexibility in it, if we wanted it out of the 2.9, we could.
Yeah, I think so. I just have to see, they wanna come and do 16 to 20 units. They don't wanna just come and do, So I have to see, when you're talking single-family homes and then our corner, and we have 5 acres, that cuts us down if we don't do the other multifamily.
Jesse, I'll second your motion.
Or just signing this letter of support, or no?
It's gotta be on our list.
It has to be on your letterhead, and you'll probably wanna date it today since we approved it. That was just a copy of the letter that they need, so.
All right.
Been moved by Jesse, seconded by Dawn. Any discussion?
I guess I really don't have a problem with the letter of support. I just have the concern that I'm like you, Jesse, I want to respect the hospital's concern for their property, and I hope the rest of the commission will keep
Well,
that in mind too when they go to it.
I do as well.
Well, and I think we just made it clear to the housing authority that
So with
it's
that-
not in.
So with that, yeah, I will support the letter.
Okay, here's the discussion. Signify support, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
So now, if Just have,
We need somebody to draw
type
it.
that, type.
I
that
can
up
send
on
that
the-
actually to whoever you want to, and then you can just fill it in on your own.
PDF. So is this?
Well, you'd be authorized direct the chairman to sign this with it.
How about I give it to Angie and then?
Is it just, is this,
Thank you, guys.
is this,
She can stamp it.
really, is this, Jesse, is this, since it's commission support, is it everybody's signature, or is it just authorized direct the
I
chairman
would
to sign?
say it probably is gonna be simpler if you authorize direct the
Chairman
chairman
to
to
sign
sign.
a letter of support.
Yeah.
And she can.
Can you add that to that motion?
Mm-hmm.
Is if everybody's good adding that to the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's not what we voted on, but it turned out to be.
Okay with stamp over there and put your
And,
name on it.
and if we're
I
already,
wish, that would make
if
my
we're
life a lot
already
easier
gone,
too.
they do have a stamp.
Okay, I'll send it right over today and then.
Yes, and Angie should be right back, so I can let her know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Send them out.
Okay. The proposal that was given to us this morning, are we gonna wait on that, or are we gonna, we gonna wait on wait, aren't we?
We're gonna have to do something about it. We need to do something about it, don't we? I mean,
Well-
Somebody's gotta
Come back up.
Well, this was our 805, this was our 805, 905.
So do you need plates?
Oh, yeah. We still need to do that.
Yeah, but this is the first he had seen of it.
That's true.
Well,
And I don't
Wade
think-
asked for him time to review it to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do we, with, that last, no, not
Hopefully all this-
the second one,
All this,
meeting we had.
heavy hitting's over with by the time you get here, Wade.
With
Tom.
David, do we need to enter into a contract with them? What we did down there is not legal binding.
Much longer, I'm gonna miss
Maybe
Trigger.
Wade question again. There's probably gonna be a contract, I would
Yeah.
venture to say that.
Can we have a 2-minute break?
2-minute break?
5 minutes?
I think 2 minutes will get us through quick, real
Hey,
quick.
we'll take a 5-minute break, I'm fine with that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All depends on what time you want the chickens to roost.
That's why I said 2.
We might be waiting for the streetlights to turn on.
We got middle school basketball starting tonight.
Just like you didn't think you was gonna be able to make it through all day, you're firing through
I've got one pretty
it.
good.
You're firing through it.
Good thing there's still cookies left. Did you get cookies?
Good. I've been eating the Halloween candy in there.
March, I come get cookies.
They are really good.
They had those ones with sour cream on them, or whatever that was, I don't know what it was.
Are they gone?
Sour cream on cookies?
Well, not sour cream, it was
Cream
cream
cheese.
cheese.
Oh. I was like, that's not making it sound very good with sour cream.
No, sorry,
Very unique, I guess.
yeah, cream cheese on top of a cookie. That was pretty good. Jesse's don't care.
I think you just turned it off.
Huh?
I think you.
I'm gonna try to contact Wade, I don't know if he has a telephone with him or not.
So, I'm gonna call this a little bit of my round table. got an updated deal on, parking. Going from 8th Street to 6th Street diagonal off the street. I should have printed off 5 of them, but, everybody got it on their email. But if you look out here, you'll see that out there where that parallel parking is, he's showing the rear end of the vehicles being out there in the street where the parallel is now. The city does not wish to see that. They want to see that come all the way in, so the front bumper is the sidewalk, so to speak. And the back bumper is back at,
I just assumed that's probably what they're gonna do.
I did.
Bring
I always,
it far enough in where the.
well, when you look at
I
this,
always anticipated they would, but.
when you look at this drawing, that's not the way it shows. You see it?
Because they want the same from 6, just continue
Correct.
right on down.
Or just like we have here on the east side,
Mhm.
is what I assumed, but Goldberg has it sitting out there. So with that in mind, directly north of the courthouse, you'll have to lose a tree. Directly north of the parking lot out here we have now, the employees and whatnot, there's 5 or 6 trees and everything will disappear. And then when you get down to 8, from 8 to 7, there's 1 or 2 trees, and then that sign the school has have to be relocated, or you have to go create an island around it. And then when you go out here on the east side, directly east of the courthouse, there's a series of little trees out there. But if you notice, he's got handicapped parking stalls here. Which, that's what those are.
Where they should be.
Where they should be, yes. And then he has one here, and one there.
See, I don't know why
You're
you
back.
have them over
Come on
here.
in.
Well, for here could be for the jail.
Correct. But then the city wants to create a crosswalk here, and that's why that parallel parking, or diagonal parking is there.
Since that church is there.
Floor is yours, sir.
All right, so the statute says all other discussion. I don't know who filled out their scoring chart, but
I get it right here.
I left it down there.
I kinda scribbled on mine.
so I think you need to take the time to fill out that scoring chart. And the materials that were handed out, you can take the materials with you. My suggestion would be to, unless you want to do it today, but you need to take the materials, review them, don't discuss them with each other, and then come back next week, have that chart filled out, the scoring criteria, and make your decision next week.
Well, I'm 100% for making the decision while the information is fresh in my mind from each presentation.
Okay.
That is my personal opinion. They've all waited around for this, so that's just my opinion.
My mind's made up.
I did my scoring chart right here.
So
Because we were in executive session and I couldn't share it with anybody.
I would like to have what Sheriff Tom Johnson
Yeah.
thought of the presentations, and I think I probably got,
Well, you still have to follow the scoring part of that statute.
I think, Tom, you've made a lot of phone calls, have you not?
I have. So just to reiterate to the commission, when this process started and we were asked to do the backgrounds, you might say, I made 16 phone calls, inquiries, to each organization, split that up. May have called 7 on one, 4 on the other, 5 on the other, whatever it may be. And there is no doubt in my mind, there's only one company that we should choose. So that company is River City. That's all I can say in open session.
okay, thank you very much.
So going back to KSA 19-216E D4,
All other discussion and any action taken in the selection process shall be conducted in an open meeting. That's where I left. Next sentence. Interview presentation scores shall not account for more than 50% of the total possible score. However, in the RFP submitted to each of these entities, it's 30%. 4B, large B. The board shall select the firm providing the best value based on the proposed criteria and weighting factors utilized to emphasize important elements of each project. All scoring criteria and weighting factors shall be identified by the board in the request for proposal instructions to firms, which is what went out to them and what they turned back in. The board shall proceed to negotiate with and attempt to enter into a construction management at risk contract with the firm receiving the best total score to serve as the construction manager or general contractor for the project. C, if the board determines that it is not in the best interest of the board to proceed with the project pursuant to the proposals offered, the board shall reject all proposals. So I don't think we even get to C, but that's why filling out the scoring criteria and weighting factors.
You have a copy of those, Corey? Do we have some copies of those?
Give me one, I'm going out pretty quick.
So here's
Mine's downstairs.
That looks like you're writing.
Did you have a blank? Mine was blank.
I got this writing on the
I
side.
made notes in this, I didn't make any notes on
Okay,
mine.
that's fine.
This is a blank one.
Yep, we just need blank ones.
That
we
would be
have
the
one?
only thing I
No,
lack.
I don't.
I'll put it in the packet.
I'd make a note on
Alright, I
it.
just need one more now.
I didn't realize it was, how did I say it? Naples was number one, wasn't it? Pardon? Naples. Yeah, yeah. That was Universal, and then River City was there, right?
Well, what I did was, you get 5%, the right answers, the full 5. Didn't like it, they got nothing, so they got checked out for that. So, and I was scored 100% for me.
You already have one?
I called, my references, I called were, contractors that may have been subs for generals, because that's where we talk, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, the only ones I couldn't find was River City, but the other two, I got feedback on those two entities, if you will. So, that's how I did mine.
Hello?
Because sometimes to me, the way a general contractor or construction manager treats their subs is reflection upon how they're gonna treat you as an owner. And I think a lot of it depends on the person that's in charge of that project at the time. I mean, I don't know how to use it as an example, but maybe as a school teacher would be a good example. I mean, one kid's gonna learn better from this teacher than they would that teacher, or the rapport means a lot.
You know, based on their presentation, it's pretty hard not to give all of them a pretty good grade. Just by listening to their presentation. Difficult to downgrade any of it. In fact, technically, you probably can't.
The only thing I don't have in front of me is those final numbers.
I have all that with me.
That's all that.
Yeah, I can say which one's cheaper.
I could.
You can? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cheap doesn't always make it.
Cheap doesn't always make it.
No, doesn't always make it. Kinda like Don, I could give them all the same number and then just go by preference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to really downgrade, because when you got presentations, it's that professional.
I personally didn't care for Universal. Or Universal. I don't.
If anything, you could downgrade it.
I can
You could
agree with
downgrade it.
Jesse on that.
My personal opinion, I thought it was poor.
What got my attention was the 3D engineer
Mm-hmm.
printing.
Cool.
That was
That
Nabholz.
cures a lot of headaches.
That was Nabholz, so.
Yeah. I can't even begin to explain how many headaches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The thing I like about River City is they've got the experience and it just came off of the jail. That, from as far as I could heard, there really was no problem with what they did.
And doing it through COVID.
Yeah.
That had to be.
That to me was, that's cookies, I need something much of them. Put my brain to work on this one.
Were we supposed to sign these?
I did mine.
Pardon?
I did mine.
Me and you, I mean, well, I didn't realize there was a regulation said we had to all these things out.
Just to look at later.
You know, as far as the presentation, those three, the first one, probably the most professional.
I like them.
Huh?
I like them more.
Their presentation probably the most professional.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm hearing.
They've done a lot of talk,
Pardon?
did a lot of
Their
thinking
professional, their presentation.
and trying to predict.
Where'd we go?
You've been ahead.
Seems since we're discussing this, and since you recommended, they said what you said, but why do you say that that's the majority decision over the others?
Based on the 16 phone calls that I made, talking to 16 different references on all different places, it was either job performance, it was either the process or service you got after the process was completed, and the follow-up on River City was outstanding based on their references. And just so you know, the 16 places I called weren't hospitals, weren't some energy corporation they built. It was a jail, a sheriff's office, or police department, because I wanted somebody to talk about a law enforcement facility, not a hospital. Not that there's not security there, but I want to talk in apples to apples to the folks that had these built. So these were 16 entities that I talked to.
Thank you. And I've done enough interviews and stuff since I've been here. The best presentation, fanciest presentation is not always the best.
No. They got all the bells and whistles for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I agree too.
That's the reason you better check the references out real more. Yeah.
So what to do from here? I was waiting on Wade. I guess we go through and do the score, huh? I don't know. Yeah, you won, Nabbles. Yeah, 55.
For which one?
Nabbles.
I had 65 on that one.
River City. Got a 71.
Yeah, I put a 55.
Universal, 54.
I'm sorry, River City, I had almost 100 there. Universal, I had 55.
55.
Yeah.
I had 63.
On Universal?
Yes.
Okay. And maybe with somebody being sick and something, that might have been better, I don't know. I wasn't. Sydney, have you guys ever worked with Universal? You have?
Oh, we have on Bourbon County, Kansas.
Bourbon County? So there's two of us have River City. Well, you guys still grading, aren't you? Slow process. First time, 5 o'clock. Be here till 5.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
About to be 5 o'clock here.
This is gonna go down in the Guinness Book of World Records in Coffee County Commission meeting. Bob, what's your score?
Well, I had Universal for 54, I guess. And I'm not real sure on my scoring, but I just kind of wrote down afterwards on the 3. At River City, 65. And basically, I'll be honest, my mine is based on, because I talked to a commissioner who I have a lot of respect for from Lynn County. And they went through that, so I kind of looked at River City through a lot of other things with that, and then I had 53 on the last one, and I would say they had a fantastic presentation, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I've never seen a better one, but
On Nabble?
Yeah, Nabble, but I just, like I said, I don't think always the best presentation is always the best bet to go with.
Tom?
Nabble scored the highest for me, the next would have been River City, and then the rest would have been Universal. But I agree with Bob.
Tim?
But it's not always the best.
Universal 63, Anvil 87, and River City 90. But I was amazed again with the 3D.
That was amazing. There's no question about that.
A lot of headaches, just waved goodbye.
We've got 4-1.
Can I collect the score sheet for you, because then Cindy will put that in a little spreadsheet.
So do we need to?
Do I need to write
do we
my
need to
name
make a
on that?
Oh, yeah.
motion to-
Sorry.
Do we need to make a motion to select River City for our,
Construction manager.
construction manager, thank you. Long day,
Long day. For the
for the jail,
jail project.
The next step would be to negotiate the contract with them.
to negotiate the contract.
With Goldenberg's knowledge on that 3D system, is that something that a lot of the,
We use Revit, so we'll have that information in our design model.
how long have you used that?
Gosh, at least,
Yeah.
6-7 years we've been doing 3D
Good.
modeling. Yeah, yeah.
Good.
It's huge. It makes a huge
Oh.
difference.
You know, the headaches before it, of course, you guys
I
know.
just gonna average them all, so
Oh,
you have
average.
one version.
Okay.
Mm.
So you got one.
I took mine out when I was free an hour, which you guys didn't have. So
I'm gonna make a copy for you so I have it for a file.
And if you just wanna scan them, that's fine too.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I will.
So the motion to
Enter and negotiate.
enter into contract negotiations with River City as our construction manager.
You want me to move?
I moved.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay.
Sorry, I was afraid. I'm busy talking.
All in favor? Any discussion, I guess? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. One step down.
Gentlemen, ladies, thank you. I know it's been a long day. I know you've had other things going. This just, again, shows your commitment, to this project to get going, just making that other step forward. As long as we're making a step forward, I'm very happy. I appreciate your time today. I really do.
Been a long day, but it's been a productive day.
Very productive.
This is-
Did they mention next week's another big day?
No, nobody said that.
No, yeah.
Next week is a decision on bond financing.
Different kinds of
Bond financing? I think I'm feeling ill.
I will, yeah, I'll be back next week, gentlemen. Sorry you have to see me again. But yeah, Greg Berenberg sent just an email, late yesterday that I'm sure you have not had a chance to look at. Just next week, you'll make a decision if you want to split the bond. He has the information, I'm sorry, first of all, from local banks. There was not a lot of interest in there's no interest in doing the direct purchasing.
Local banks don't have any interest at all at this time.
No one responded to them.
Any interest in this proposal.
Right.
They will still have the opportunity to participate whichever financing option you go in.
They choose to
though.
buy the bonds.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So, there's some information for you all to digest there, and I'll be back next week so we can talk about that a little more.
Walk us slowly through it.
I'm hoping I bring Greg, who is more qualified than I am to answer those questions, and so we'll be able to make a decision. Thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah. Wait, that was 4-1. 4-1 River City.
How about the scoring or the vote?
Did you vote for it?
No, the vote was 100%, but it was for.
The scoring was for.
The scoring was for.
Oh, no, they all said yes, but the scoring.
I thought the 60
Tom,
I thought I had that straight.
stay there a minute. Can you stay a minute?
Sure.
Stay there.
Yes, yes.
one yet.
So,
Our day isn't done yet.
Is he buying dinner?
Tom, you got something about the parking?
Yeah, I just wanna make sure everybody's clear on this diagonal parking on the north side and east side of the courthouse, because we're gonna meet with the architect for the parking Thursday at 1. And so Larry's drawing, again, shows on the north side of the courthouse, where they parallel park now, it's showing that that diagonal parking is going out to the edge of that parallel parking spot they're occupying now. The city of Burlington does not wish to see that. They wish to see it all the way in off the street.
Okay.
So with that being said, directly north of the courthouse, you can do a fair amount there, but you're gonna lose at least one tree, and you'll have to shrink that up to get in between the other trees. Then when you go west, half a block, I guess it'd be, in front, directly north of the parking lots we have now, all those trees there would have to go. And when you go further west again, between 8th and 7th, the school's got that sign out there, you're gonna have to go around it or relocate it or something, but then you also have the light posts to deal with that are out there. Whether the city's gonna let us relocate those, or whether we're gonna create an island, you know, a lot to digest.
Yeah.
Then when you get around on the east side of the house, and if you look out the window there, you'll see some nice pretty little trees that are gonna be gone. So, with that being said, I guess if everybody's willing to give up the trees, then that's the only way it's gonna happen.
Trees cause problems around buildings.
Firewood.
I'm willing to give up the trees.
I'm just putting that out there now, so I mean,
There-
I don't wanna
wanna-
have, go into this meeting Thursday at 1 and
Yeah.
say, I don't know, so.
I don't wanna have to lose the trees, but, because they are nice, pretty
Yeah, they are.
trees. But
Yeah, there's 5 nice oaks out there,
Yeah.
but just green out now, so it's not a surprise later.
You know, the parking lot where the church is, they've got that set in as straight parking. I think we need to entertain angle parking, be easier for these bigger vehicles, pickups, easier to get in and out with angle parking than would be straight.
I'll mention that, you'll probably lose some.
Yeah, you're gonna lose a
You might
number.
lose a couple spots, but it'll be a safer atmosphere to get in and out.
take into consideration
We still want to bring this out on
the
you.
places where
Huh?
we're going
We still plan on bringing this out on you.
that added to that, so that we're in compliance with our.
I don't care, we should get on with it.
State requirements.
Well,
I talked to Mike about
the
that.
main reason is because in order for the city, if they ever want to help create a crosswalk here and a crosswalk here, the city has to walk through the end block. It would be easier than, you know what I'm saying? I'll still mention,
But coming out of the parking lot ain't gonna make a bit of difference if you're walking out of the parking lot, whether you came in from this direction or whether you came in.
I think, but I'll mention it.
The contract from this morning.
No, I haven't even had a chance to.
Well, you've been sitting there.
Don't hit
Come
him.
on, Mike.
Don't hit him way that hard.
No, I spoke to Larry about that issue, and I'll converse with him again, just to remind him about, you know, they can't be out, that we're gonna have to clip that, you know, that down to the sidewalks, basically, all the way around. And again, Larry didn't think that would be an issue.
No,
He said-
it won't be, just as long as everybody's aware we're gonna lose trees.
City doesn't think it's an issue either.
Yeah, I understand that, so I just wanna make sure the school's okay with it on, you know, across the street or north of the school, between 7th and 8th. And I think as long as we're conversing about it and talking, I don't think we're gonna have an issue, so.
Okay.
Appreciate the communication. As long as we can keep communicating, we'll keep this thing going, one step forward every day.
The only communication I'd like to see on the parking, I personally would like to see it coming in off Sixth Street instead of Neosho Street. I just
On
don't.
Sixth Street.
Yeah, in other words, it shows it coming in and the parking going in on Neosho. I would rather come in off Sixth. I don't really, no, I would prefer that we take the traffic on a less used street than on the main street. That's my thinking. And the way they have it coming out, as soon as you come out of the parking, you're right there at the crosswalk too, in the parking, and that could create a problem.
Oh,
But that's just something we can talk about,
I'll mention it.
be brought up.
About be a reason it's designed that way.
And there might be a reason, if there is, that's, I just wanna get it done, let's get on with it.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Am I released?
Yes, sir.
You are now, as long as you know you're a tree killer.
You got the keys. You can release yourself.
See you all later.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week.
I was gonna go deer hunting.
I can turn it, somebody whips out of that right there, somebody runs across.
I don't even know where we are.
Maybe turn
Discovery?
The contract.
Next Monday?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna, I mean, it's retroactive, so it.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just gonna try to get things out of the way.
Retroactive.
Right.
Yep.
What's the option? Not? Just throwing the obvious out there. What's the options?
Yeah.
Not to approve it?
Well, you still want him to.
But I want him to read it.
Okay.
Agree with the verbiage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the wording, not
The
that it's not
wording.
gonna be signed, it's, so an attorney drafted that, so we didn't want another attorney to look at it, to vet it.
So, what about the deal with David Cooper and that group? Do we need to do something with that today?
They're already on board.
They're already on board.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How did they get on board? We did. Okay, never mind.
Under the.
Okay, that's what I wanted, okay.
So, this is the materials that the hospital provided. Tim had asked, the hospital had referenced documents that were related to the upcoming changes in January. This is what they said. So if you want to read this, I'll leave it in here.
Steve, that's one reason
I'm not gonna read it.
No.
You can read it at your own leisure, but whoever wants it,
That kinda looks like a house bill.
they reference the CMS, which stands for Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, multiple times. This, says design for care, compare nursing home 5-star quality rating system, technical users guide.
You guys want, either one of you guys want to read?
I'll leave it
Read
here.
this week and get back.
It's a sad deal. I understand it. Personally, I don't have a family member there now, I have, and it's a good facility. And I'm sure if they can stab it like they like, it'll still be a good.
Keep going.
Because it's, I mean, I can't reiterate it enough, it's not about the money, it's about staffing and liability, so, the way I understand it.
You have anything for roundtable?
So, Bob, going back to your question about David Cooper, Bishop Patterson, to get them involved, that's a professional service. I reached out to them and brought them on board to fill.
Good, I just didn't think we needed to make a motion. Okay, I'm okay with that.
And, that project is potentially even bigger than the 4 of them that will be involved.
Battery died.
Memory's full.
Those mine.
I know the feeling.
Had to delete some earlier stuff.
Trying to think. Unless you have something for me, I can't think of anything right now.
I don't have it. You got anything? You don't have anything? She have anything?
Nope. I'm just here for the fun, I guess.
I did not have any time to watch any news, so,
You don't have any minutes, nothing to do, huh?
no.
Tom?
Mine was just that parking lot deal, as long as.
And you're
everybody's on
meeting
the same
Thursday
page.
with somebody to?
At 1 o'clock, anybody else welcome to attend? hiding it or nothing like that, but, street superintendent, we'll have Jeff from Road and Bridge. I mean, if that architect says we'll send his own thing, I could shoot some more elevations, because the project's actually grown from original assumptions, so.
And I just want to make sure that YouTube land knows that we are going to lose oak trees out here with the diagonal parking. Everything along
South side of the ocean,
Yep.
8th to 6th.
6th.
And everything on the east-west side of 6th from Neosho to Des Moines.
I am gonna back up a little bit.
No Indian given.
I did meet with NextEra,
Oh, yeah.
and they was asked to provide a community hearing for the concerned citizens, the landowners with them, and do some communicating.
And so,
They seem to agree that they would be doing that.
good.
Who was that?
NextEra.
Oh, yeah.
He was there, wasn't he?
Two attorneys from, well, three attorneys with Poison firm, one attorney for NextEra, and 6 representatives from NextEra from all across the country, one from consultant from Canada,
One from New York.
Florida, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, somewhere else. They indicated collectively that they will be active in the local community. They plan on having, first they will come before the commission and present on what's happening, why and how. They have a lot of additional information that they probably need to present not only here before the commission, so it goes out into the community, but also to each of the, mainly Waverly, but they could do it here locally as well, related to what the transmission line will look like, how it will influence or affect property, the design of the tower, mentioned the buzzing sound on existing high voltage transmission lines. They indicated that with the new technology that it shouldn't be any more than 20 decibels or something.
Which is pretty small.
Yeah.
So a lot of information they need to present here locally, that hopefully they'll do so. They indicated they would. They're going to get maps. They're going to get references for similar lines that have been put in not only in Kansas but in other areas, so that the county can contact other municipal counties or government officials and not just get the positives, I guess. And so
I did express concerns that the calls to the landowners had stopped. They gave some reasons, but they said they'd get back on it.
Sounds like they need to get out in the public a little more.
Yes.
Bob, you got anything?
I know, but Clayton, you said impact Waverly. I thought this was going from here to southern.
It would impact from
Missouri
down through my
between Waverly
territory
and
and Dawn's.
Yeah.
But not the city of Waverly.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
All right.
I just meant that.
Okay, that's what I was, you said Waverly, and I'm thinking, woo.
Everything's south.
I'd say that's a long ways
I
to
think
get.
part of it's on Shetland Road. or-
Okay, yeah.
From
I got it.
southeast
Just
of the
clarification.
plant.
better stated District Number 4 instead of Waverly.
Okay, okay.
It'll catch 11 or 12 miles.
I'm still
of-
thinking Jesse.
11 or 12 miles
Still
of
making
County
a
College.
Don't you dump it all on us on one day.
Could be worse than a day.
Don, you got anything?
I've got a note, the wind farm, are they coming in next Monday?
Yep.
So they're set to be here next Monday. I don't have anything.
I don't think I have anything. It's been a long day. I can't think. My head is spent. We don't have anything else. Going once, going twice. I was gonna try to roll it up to 5 o'clock.
Oh, no, I'm out of here.
We'll adjourn at 4:45.
That's a nice round
Thank you
number.
for the tray.
Lord have mercy.